that change is not occurring.
Yeah.
And the sundown on the
Offer.
the offer expires at the end of this year. So that
Okay,
money.
so there will be nothing on that line for next year?
No.
Yeah, on this one or the other budget?
Correct.
That's what I was trying to...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We asked, the airport may ask for more next year.
Upgrade all the signage now. so-
Yes.
Why did they get rid of the nice, this is totally off
It's
topic.
going to be relocated.
Okay, thank you. Wait, it's Rob Fisher's
Rob
design,
Fisher's
and he's a
design.
Bellefonte person. I
done-
want him back at the airport.
It's okay, Joanne, it's all right. It's going to be relocated.
Thank you.
You do like the new sign, though?
It's okay.
Okay.
It makes a bigger point, because it is a state college airport, isn't it?
You bet.
But, yeah,
Any questions for Lori? Other questions?
I have a question about the building across the street and the tenants. I understand we have 3 tenants.
Other than the borough. What's the average length of the lease, and do the tenants pay their own utilities, or is it included in the rent?
I can answer some of those questions. The leases are varied. Some are year to year. For example, the newest tenant, Senator Dush, could only go 2 years maximum till his term, where he's up for re-election. So they have the existing tenants that the original lease ran out. We adopted 2 leases. So they're on kind of like a month to month, and there is no way to separate utilities in that building. So, and previously, it was a gross amount, and the landlord pays the utilities. So that's how it's set up.
So the utilities reflected in our budget are for the whole building, and then some of it's recouped from the tenants through their rent?
Yes. Well,
So, yes, there's a separate, everything for that building is separate. It has its own set of books. And if you look at it, there's a section in the budget for that next year. It has like a 406 point, and it says 301 North Spring. Those are the expenses that were already over there that are related to having the tenants.
Okay.
So we've been paying that since we bought the building. So those I do have good numbers for. It's just like, I don't know how much electricity might go up when we move over there, like
Okay.
those kind of things.
And is there the potential for additional tenants, or is the
There
3
were-
kind of the?
It's getting
maximum?
close to what we can do with additional tenants, but the ground floor will have some space once we move things around and construction is finished related to the elevator. There's maybe some small pocket spaces, but the majority of the space that's available would be leased out.
Okay, so that estimated income
Pretty
line for
close.
rental income is variable.
Right.
Yes.
It is as far as if we would get new tenants. Like, I know what it is right now, but if we would get new tenants, that's not reflected in there.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
We could have additional income if we find an event that needs to use the large room.
Well, that would.
Outs- But that's a variable, and we
An
can't
event
predict
rental
that.
space?
Yes.
But that is a space that could be revenue generating as well. Certainly not like month-to-month lease, but,
Per event.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Great.
You had mentioned in that police station renovations, shouldn't that be covered in the grant that Senator Corman got for the renovations?
That's not going to cover everything.
So it became part of the general fund.
Other questions?
I'm looking down there over the expenses, and it's, it's usually pretty tight. We've been doing it, and I don't know where there might be wiggle room, I guess, if you're interested in that, you
Yes.
just have to bring it up at the next meeting. That'd be the easiest way.
Like Ralph said, a lot of our stuff is set. The wages are set by the contract.
You can't control the insurance.
The healthcare is set by the contract, so there's really not a whole lot that really is, you can change. I mean, we have to provide the police with appropriate safety stuff. We have to provide office supplies, those kind of things, so we have to have internet to function anymore, so there's really not a whole lot that's, I think we've kind of cut in past years.
The low-hanging fruit's gone.
Yeah, like I said, there's the website design that's in there. Some things that we can talk about as far as what the police ask for, what streets ask for. Some of the things they're up against is some of their trucks aren't gonna pass inspection, so we have to do something. Matt told me he's looking for used because, as we've talked about before, a lot of the stuff is a 2-year lead time, and if they don't pass inspection, that's not gonna work. So he's hoping to get used. That saves some money. So,
I think with the transition that we're having next year, I think the website design should wait a year.
it can do that. I mean, I know it was presented to you before, so I put it in. If you want to take it out, that's totally, I just need to note it so I can take it out. But yeah, next year's a little tough because there's just so many variables that are unknown right now.
Right.
Lori, on the central booking unit expense 410,535, it's zero across from 22, 23, and 23, and then it jumps to 14,270. Is that going to be a quarterly thing?
For a few years, we were getting letters from the booking center saying you're going to pay this fee. Pretty much since COVID, whatever happened, something happened with their revenue streams. And the last couple years, the commissioners stepped in and said, we'll take care of it. This year, we tried the same thing, and nobody came to the table. And they said, we all the municipalities must pay the fee, and ours is probably on the low end, believe it or not. And Dawn went to the meeting, but there was questions about the state police don't participate in paying the fee, and so on. But anyway, there wasn't a good answer. They said we need to pay the fee this year for 2024, and they would revisit the topic of the fees, who pays and how much, in 2024. So we're locked into paying that fee for next year.
I mean, is it one lump sum, or is it?
It's one lump sum, to my understanding.
Yeah, I don't know. We've never paid it before,
Yes.
so.
Whatever they invoice or
Yeah.
however they do it.
Yes.
I remember that discussion. It was probably in March, they start coming to us and saying that
Yes.
we would be having to do this coming year.
Other questions?
Yes, it looks like the general government health insurance.
Premiums went way up.
Because I was informed that there's somebody coming on our plan that's not currently on our plan. Right now it's open enrollment, and how it works here is if you opt out, we give the employee 25% of the savings, and right now that person is getting the opt-out, but once they go on the insurance, then it will pretty much double.
Okay.
Okay, well, last call.
Well, again, just a reminder, you have it in the next meeting for sure. We'll book some time to go over this, see if you have any more questions. The first meeting in December, we do approve the tentative budget, and we'll take whatever we have and put a booklet together and advertise that for public inspection. But I encourage everybody to go down line by line and let us know of any questions you have.
So are we asking questions about the 301 as well, or is this, just the general budget?
No, you can ask about the 301.
Okay, so you said at the beginning that we're planning on moving everything over in April.
That's what we're.
Everything is really an estimate.
Mhm.
Okay, and I just want to clear for myself and the public, it would be the council, HARB, planning, and administration. Is there anything
Well,
else?
let's be clear, we have a meeting room over there. You're speaking about meetings, municipal meetings, is that correct?
I'm talking about meetings, space, we're moving staff on all of that. I'm talking the whole shebang.
Okay. We are planning on moving the administrative offices over there on the second floor of the building sometime in 2024. In late this year, December, we intend to have at least one council meeting in the meeting room, and then maybe from that point forward, have municipal meetings over there.
Okay.
Because the municipal meeting room will be ready to go. The offices probably will not be ready to go, so that's what I was trying to clarify.
Okay.
So we'll advertise like we normally do. You know, once we know that the change is taking place, we'll advertise accordingly. And then direct people with whatever signage is needed to explain that the meeting room will be over there going forward.
Okay, and then, so the other second half is once the space is available for staff to move over, is it's HARB, planning, administrative services, finance?
The whole staff.
We call it the general government
Yeah.
staff,
Okay,
yes.
everything except the police and public works, correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
Public
Yes.
works will remain here?
yes.
Okay, that's what I wanted to
Yes.
clarify.
Mhm.
And Public Works will eventually take down everything downstairs, the police will be upstairs, or what?
That's being worked
Yeah,
on. There are some functions that fit better with the police, near the doors. I don't want to get into too many details, but there are things that are better situated at that level versus up here, but that's being worked out.
Okay,
I think we'll let borough staff and the police department come up with a plan and present that to council. Ralph is giving you general numbers, general
That's-
ideas.
that's what
so
I'm
when
looking
it's-
for.
Okay, well,
so,
That-
because
that's-
before we came to the meeting this evening, I thought police was moving across the street. And then I saw this budget and there was nothing on police and I was very confused.
We talked about it quite a bit, but we want the most effective, department. And this really, what it boiled down to is this building with the vehicles here and all of that, this was better suited where the vehicles and the people are very close to each other, can get out the door very fast, and that's what we want.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
Thank you.
And
Any-
again, there's a lot of estimates in there. We had to pick a date for budget purposes, but that doesn't mean that's the date that it will happen.
right.
We just had to figure something out so
Yeah,
we
yeah,
can
yeah.
get numbers together. But it's not set in stone in any way, shape, or form.
Related, not budget-wise, but how's the elevator going?
We had a committee meeting, I don't know if somebody may report later on, but it's going, the shaft is being built by concrete blocks, you see them out there on Lamb Street. It's a slow process, tedious process, a small space to work in, but it's progressing, so that's positive.
Anticipated to be complete in December.
Okay.
Ralph, you said we'll vote tentatively to approve the budget in
For-
the first meeting in December?
Correct.
So 2 meetings from now?
Yes.
So Lori, with the numbers that were given to us today, so well by you, the $97,000 that we're short, is that unusual?
No, it's
Compared-
actually really good. We've come with 300,000
Oh.
before.
This is nice.
I was just trying to.
I can't tell you how excited everybody was.
You should have said, yeah. All right, I'm glad I asked that, just for the benefit of the people who are watching.
300,000,
the person.
250.
Yeah.
So we've had it up that high. But I mean, I was just listening, trying to pay attention instead of asking specific questions about specific items. There's nothing really that I mean, I'm getting the gist that there's nothing really that maybe other than a website design or something here or there, we could just move to another year. The low-hanging fruit, so to speak, is gone. So in 2 months or in 2 meetings, we may be faced with making a decision on $97,000 increase in our budget. Is that unusual from previous Decembers? Have we had that kind of money that we had to increase our budget by?
We have done, so it would be about a mil increase, and it is not unusual to have that. So,
But what is unusual about this? Is there, I heard you mention maybe having to raise taxes.
so,
Is that,
so to cover the 97,000, or if we take some stuff out, it will be less. We
Yeah.
will have to either have a little bit of an increase, or we will take it out of reserves. So that's your choice as to how you want to resolve that. Like Ralph said, everybody can look at it. We make a choice about the website and all of that. We'll bring it down some.
no, I just feel better that it was out, that for those of us that don't follow it quite as, good, the numbers, that number is considerably lower than the numbers have been in previous budget years prior to us tentatively.
Right.
Instead of sitting here for 2.5 hours bickering over item 301 and 5.7B, maybe ahead of time, we know that, hey, look, we're faced with this kind of money deficit. Should we, borrow, or should we just raise taxes? Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Lori, would it be possible, and I don't know if this is already here and I'm just not seeing it, to give us an idea of the reserves that we have and where they're, and what we had been planning for, or what we would be losing if we use these things, that reserve to make up the budget so we don't have to raise the taxes?
I could do that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Even in '22, I think we $88,000, and we still, I think we added a $500,000 to that to help
Right.
with that.
And some of it is, I mean, this is kind of a worst case scenario. That's not to say that we will actually be that short, but that's kind of how I do it. I estimate revenues low, expenses high. It works for us. We've done really well with that in the past. A lot of times Ralph and Dawn may say, hey, if we get it to 50,000, they feel they can handle that. There's no increase necessary. So there's play in the budget that if things may not turn out the way we think they will. So like I said, a lot of times I've heard them say, once we get to a certain point, we can handle that. We wouldn't need an increase. We can make that work. So.
What was the percentage of non-payment last year? Or the tax?
So ours just usually runs less than 5%, but I always figure let's do 5% or more, because that's one of those unknowns.
So 95%, we had a 95% return rate on.
Well, actually, we had probably a 96 or 7%.
Oh, that's really good.
100 and
Yeah.
what?
Yeah,
Say that again?
96%.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So.
I thought you said 106, I said, how'd that happen?
We'll take it.
No.
Okay. Anything else? So I was thinking about adjourning the meeting,
Okay.
and we have an executive session after the meeting tonight.
We do.
Can we do that now?
Yes.
Is that within the rules
Yeah, so you just need to announce in the regular meeting.
that we had the executive session?
Yes.
So I'm going to adjourn this meeting, and then council will go in for a short executive session that was scheduled for the end of this meeting.
Excellent.
Meeting is adjourned. I'd like to call the Bellefonte Borough Council business meeting to order. It's November 6th, 7:30 PM. Welcome, everybody. First, we'd like to have the Pledge of Allegiance and then a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Stewart, could I have the roll call, please?
Yes, Mr. Bernier. Here. Mr. Brackville.
Here.
Ms. Cleaton.
Here.
Ms. Stan.
Here.
Mr. Johnson.
Present.
Ms. McKean is excused. Ms. Purnell.
Here.
Ms. Sedgwick.
Here.
Ms. Tosti Vasey.
Here.
Mayor Johnson.
Here.
Thank you, Ralph.
Sure.
In accordance with Act 65 of 2021, if a matter is not on the agenda, council cannot take official action on it, with some exceptions. The council can act on matters relating to potential or real emergencies. Council may add a matter of agency business to its agenda through a majority vote. The council should state the reason why the action item is being added to the agenda. At this time, I'm asking any council members if they have an addition to the agenda for tonight. Hearing none, I'll move on to item 5, public comment. The public comment period is for oral comments regarding any action items listed on the meeting agenda or any comments in general. There is no deliberation with council, by council this time. If you're planning to speak, sign in, come to the podium, state your name, your address, and the item you're speaking about. And we do limit the comments to 3 minutes. So is there anybody who would like to comment from the public? Yes, sir.
I'm Peter Serafine. I live at 212 East High Street, and I'm here to provide additional information regarding the petition to establish an off-leash dog park in Bellefonte, which was presented at the last council meeting. Approximately 4 weeks ago, I reached out to each member of this council via email, asked to be included in the last agenda, was not. Regrettably, I received a polite response from the borough manager saying that I wouldn't be on the agenda. 3 weeks ago, I attended this meeting and presented the petition through public comments. So tonight, I'm here again in public comments because I've yet to be added to the agenda. According to the American Humane Society, the United States has 69 million families that own at least one dog. Every one of them looks at a community when they're moving. They look for a community that is good for their dog as well as themselves. So adding an off-leash park to the Bellefonte area could possibly attract new residents. It's also worth noting that creating an off-leash park is an initiative that could serve as an easy political win for this council. The primary financial responsibility or commitment would involve erecting and maintaining a fence, the cost of which can be significantly offset by public donations from individual citizens, civic organizations, and local businesses. However, few people are willing to donate to a project until it receives government approval. To provide some additional context, dividing a 2-acre park into 3 sections, one for small dogs, one for large dogs, and one to lie fallow to allow the ground to regenerate, would require about 1,500 feet of fencing. My discussions with the hundreds of Bellefonte residents have revealed an overwhelming support for this project. By granting approval to this project, you give me the opportunity to commence fundraising. So far, I have been relatively unsuccessful at that. So I strongly urge the council to approve an off-leash dog park project, which will not only serve as a testament to our commitment to our community's well-being, but also allow us to move forward in a positive and productive direction. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Others? Council members with public comment?
You got one
Yes,
more.
sir.
I'm Jerome Kinney. I live at 131 Elm Street. I presented to you a couple of months ago our case with property owners at 1201 Pine Circle. And I expressed my concern, as my wife and I are both registered nurses. We like to work out in the yard. The property at 1201 Pine Circle still does not have any sort of fence up. And based on past history, it is my understanding that the borough was adamant with Mr. Wetzler, Frankie Wetzler, when he owned the property, to put up a larger fence, as there was talk about kids from the ball field wanting to go over, climb his fence, and swim in his pool when he wasn't home. And that was prior to us moving in. But today, I wanted it to be noted on your record that there is still no fence around that property, even if it's orange construction fence. Something to protect the kids with these nice days that we have that play at the playground. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there others? Okay, well, we're going to move on then to communications. Mr. Stewart, do you want to take that?
Sure. The first one's a invitation for council members and the mayor to attend the Center Care's 10 years anniversary for their nonprofit being in existence. The celebration is Thursday, November 9th, 1 to 3 at the new facility. So there is a RSVP mentioned in the flyer. Looks like the deadline may be close or even expired, but
Thursday, November 9th.
yeah, but the
I'm sorry,
RSVP is
Yeah, the
the
third, Friday the
But
3rd.
we,
yeah.
being with the council meeting and all that, so if you want to go, leave us know, and we'll be happy to make that connection, or you can do that directly, but you would want to do it pretty soon, I would say. So, next item, we did get a letter about the CNET membership dues. It's an annual notice that we receive, and the dues are noted in the letter. Just wanted to make you aware of that, and we did pass that on to our finance director for her numbers as well.
Was that in this evening's
Yes,
budget?
yes.
That number was in there?
Yeah, she has those numbers,
All
yes.
right, okay.
There's no action required for that. We received a comment on the Bellefonte Waterfront Associates request for code services options. Again, it's just for your information. There's no action item scheduled for this evening related to that topic. The next item is a complaint of drug paraphernalia in the storefront window along North Allegheny Street. I know we mentioned that to the police department. Our police chief is here in the audience. There may not be much we can do, but it will be looked at to see if everything is legal as way things are displayed. The next item is again, another kind of an annual request from Historic Bellefonte Incorporated in regards to the decorating day assistance they will need, including setting up the Santa's house. The actual decorating day is the Saturday, November 18th. We usually typically do supply the labor and the materials and the equipment requested. So that does, we're asking for council to approve that.
I'm asking from council a motion and a second to approve providing staff to help with the decorating on Saturday, November 18th.
So moved.
I'm assuming the
So
hours
second.
are
Yeah, they're in the information letter.
Yeah.
Yes.
8 to 2 or 8 to 3 or something like
Something
that.
like that. yeah.
So I had a motion.
Joanne made the motion, Randy seconded.
Okay. Any discussion on this motion?
Just one curiosity question, I didn't see it in the letter. Are public invited to assist with this?
They
Sure.
can, yes. They actually encourage that. They talked about volunteers getting lunch out of it if you help. They have, the details are in the letter.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that part.
Yes, it's in there.
Roll call, please. Mr. Holderman.
Mr. Bernier.
Yes.
Mr. Brackbill.
Yes.
Ms. Clayton.
Yes.
Ms. Dan.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Ms. Purnell.
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick.
Yes.
Ms. Tosti Vasey.
Yep.
Moving on to the consent agenda. Items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine and will be acted upon by a single motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless members of council request specific items to be removed for separate action. So I'm calling for a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda.
Make a motion to make it, approve all
Randy,
6
thank you.
items.
Dan.
Barbara, Dan, Barb, thanks.
I would like to remove the budget versus actual for question.
For which one?
Budget versus actual, September 2023, I'd like to remove that.
Okay. Others? All right, so I would like to have a roll call vote on the remaining consent agenda items. Do you want me to read through them, or it's all of them except budget versus actual September 2023? Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bernier. Mr. Brackbill.
Yes.
Ms. Clayton.
Yes.
Ms. Dan.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Ms. Purnell.
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick.
Yes.
Ms. Tosti Vasey.
Yes.
Okay. And now, Joanne.
Okay, my question is, under the bulk water budget, there is a grant expense. It's line number 497.000.000 for $217,950 that wasn't budgeted. That results in an overall loss of approximately $222,000 in this budget. My first question, what is this? And do we need to consider requesting some of the funds back that we shared with the water authority to cover this loss?
I'll get the details. I don't know right offhand. There's a lot of grants and matching funds that
Yeah,
happen
it
to.
was just too generic for me to understand what
Yes,
was going
let me
on.
get the details and we'll get back to you, get to
Okay.
everybody on that.
So can we table this until the next time
We
then?
can, sure. I mean, it's up to you guys.
It's okay. Are you making a motion
Yeah.
to table it?
Table.
Second to that motion?
Second.
Thank you. You want a roll call vote?
Mr. Bernier.
Yes.
Mr. Brackbill.
Yes.
Ms. Clayton.
Yes.
Ms. Dan.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Ms. Purnell.
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick.
Yes.
Ms. Tosti Vasey.
Yes.
Great. Moving on, reports. Mayor, do you have anything for us tonight?
Yeah, I'd just like to report on what we did on Halloween. Chief Weaver, my wife and my son, we set up at a couple different locations. We had a table. Chief provided a couple pumpkins with lights, and we had candy. It was really nice to see the community and see all the kids, and I think the community really appreciated seeing the police presence and seeing us go from different spots. And I never realized how much traffic there was on Curtin and Lynn Streets. The kids, wow.
I don't live there.
But I know we thoroughly enjoyed it. It was great to see the community and the kids and people stop to talk to myself and Chief Weaver, and we got to meet people and of course pass out candy to the kids. So it's something pretty special that Chief and I have started over the last 2 years, and keeps getting bigger and bigger. Who knows what we'll do next year, right, Chief?
Anything else?
Nope, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Next, the next HARB meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, November 14th at 8:30 a.m. Council Chambers. Gina, do you have anything for us tonight?
Are there any questions about anything in the memo?
No, but I do see the Planning Commission. That's a pretty important meeting.
Yeah, sure, I can just reiterate
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
There likely won't be a hard meeting on Tuesday. I have not received any projects so far. The only reason I'm not 100% sure is because I know that with the fire that happened this weekend downtown, I know that there's some work that needs to be done, but I think that that work can be handled administratively, but I'm not 100% sure of that at this time. So I don't believe we'll be having a meeting on November 14th for HARB. There will be a planning commission meeting on Monday, November 13th. It's at 5 p.m. here in council chambers, and the planning commission will be reviewing the elementary building land development plan at that meeting. If there is time, we'll also review some draft language for some ordinances and some amendments that we have discussed in our previous planning commission meeting. The zoning hearing board meeting was held last week. There were two cases that were heard. One was the determination meeting for 1304 Summit Drive, which is the Robin's Nest short-term rental. The board voted unanimously to not approve the request to allow that short-term rental to operate unlimited throughout the year. So that short-term rental has a maximum nights of 138 nights or days per calendar year that it can operate at. And then there was a variance request for 131 North Thomas Street that was granted. So it's a dimensional variance. They are planning on subdividing that parcel into 3 separate parcels, and that will create a front and side non-conforming setback. However, that whole block and many other blocks in the borough have front and side non-conforming setbacks, so.
What do you mean by dimensional? I haven't heard that term before.
It's a dimensional variance is when you're seeking relief for setbacks.
Okay.
Versus like a use variance.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm. Any questions?
No?
All right,
Thank you, Gina.
Yeah. Yep.
Moving on to item 9, current and old business. Do you want to read it?
It's up to you if you want.
Go ahead.
Okay. First one, Bellefonte EMS has supplied additional information related to questions they were given at the October 2nd work session. It's there for your review. It fits into the budget season, so take a look at it, review it, and you can reach out to Mr. Rote if you have any questions. Next item, you want to go over this one?
Yeah.
The next item is the Parkview Boulevard Zion Road traffic light. We're looking for approval to go into the design phase. As Gina mentioned, the school is moving forward with their land development plan. However, they're very much behind in the traffic plans. We talked about it, about getting our light installed, completed in the near future. So in order to do that, we would like to, proposing council approve the design phase so that we can get through that, then get into construction, and then see the light built in 2024. What we're going to do is we talked to our traffic engineer. That part of Zion Road already has a turning lane, so it's not anticipated that the road would be needing any re-widening or make it more wider. And they simply make a control panel a little bit larger in the event that there is a traffic light at Zion Road and Airport Road, because those lights will communicate to each other. So given that the risk of major upgrades, major changes are relatively low. And again, in order to get our project completed in a timely fashion, we're asking council to move ahead.
So I'm looking for a motion and second to move to the design phase for the traffic light so that the signal can be installed in 2024. Thank you, Deb.
I'll
Second.
second.
Thank
I'll
you.
give it, take that,
Doesn't matter.
I'll sell it to you.
Barb. Randy, Barb.
Deb.
Discussion?
Deb, or-
Discuss, okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Deb. I
I'm
was thinking of these two. Yes, Joanne?
kind of confused.
Don't be. We can explain it really simply.
So.
We're trying to get ahead of the game, so the design is in place. We don't know what the school's
Yeah.
doing exactly,
So-
but we're putting safety factors in there to make sure that we're not responsible if the school changes the,
Okay, so what I was thinking until you said that we're going to go ahead and put a light in regardless of what the school district does. My thought was that we may know something more next week after the planning. They may.
No.
No.
No, we won't?
No.
Okay, that's why
Okay.
that's why I'm confused.
All right, I'm trying to say as quickly, as clearly as I can, the land development plan is starting through planning, but it doesn't, they will not have the traffic plans reviewed at that meeting.
Okay,
They're way behind in that part of the project.
okay,
On our project, our clock is running. Once we got a notice from PennDOT saying you must put in a light, it's a 2-year window.
okay.
PennDOT, or the school district and working with PennDOT will likely be on our 2-year window. And knowing that and knowing that how they're progressing, I'm asking council to move ahead with the design phase at this point in time. When we first approved our traffic engineer, we said there's a condition, you can do everything but the design. I'm asking to undo that because he can't go any further until we get it, until council says he can.
Okay, so, I guess this is sort of a hypothetical. We go ahead and pass this evening, and then the school comes in and does their land development, and say 6 months from now, they say, well, we want to realign everything. How will that affect what we've already done?
Well,
That's what I don't want us to have excess funds.
we're trying our best. We still have a 2-year window regardless. The best I can say at this point in time is we won't be widening Zion Road. It's
Okay.
already has a turning lane.
Okay,
And what they do, the people that are in this arena, say they just make the control panel box bigger so that our light talks to maybe a new light.
okay,
Now, you talked about realignment. That is a remote possibility, very remote, but that may not happen till 26. That's what I'm trying to say. That's way past our
Okay.
window to do anything.
so let me ask one question then.
Yeah.
So say we go ahead and we get this light in and everything, we've done our job. Then PennDOT says the roads have to be realigned. How does that affect us financially?
It doesn't affect us at all. It would be on the school district to handle.
Okay, that's what I
Now, it
wanted to hear.
affects us as taxpayers, but not as the borough government.
Okay,
Because we as taxpayers will have to pay again. But we have our 2-year window, and the clock's already running.
okay.
So-
That answers my question.
Okay,
Thank you.
yes.
other questions? Roll call, please.
Mr. Bernier.
Yes.
Mr. Brackbill.
Yes.
Ms. Clayton.
Yes.
Ms. Dan.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Ms. Purnell.
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick.
Yes.
Ms. Tosti Vasey.
Yes,
Do you want to do the encroachment one?
Sure. We talked about, we had a gentleman in the audience mention this property, 1201 Pine Circle, encroachment by the property owner. I noted here, that they have hired an attorney who has been in touch with both our borough authority solicitor as well as the borough solicitor, and they're just simply working out a schedule. Some of the people on our end had some conflicts with scheduling, but they said they would try to get that together in a timely fashion. I did mention here, there's no activity. There are encroachments. You're all aware of the encroachments. We are disappointed that there's no activity out there. But now it's a legal, civil matter, trying to get that resolved in some fashion. And then continue on.
Sure.
Okay, just an update. We as a committee of Borough Council, met and discussed this third-party commercial inspector's proposal, at least having options available for commercial developers. I just noted here the meeting, with our current, also met with our current code provider and got some feedback from them, as well as Tom Songer, the developer who proposed having options. I just wanted to mention, questions were asked as to the start date of the project. No start date was given. The committee may recommend other options when a start date is provided. I think that's kind of where everybody is at.
And the Wood Street Stormwater Project.
It's underway, and it's projected to be completed by the middle of this month. Thank you. Thanks.
Parkview Heights Stormwater Project.
Yes, that one is expected to start, excuse me, in December.
Okay, and the property at Burroughs and Cowdrick.
Yeah, this is a property that has a number of very evident nuisance code issues. The property owner's been in touch with us, has been generally favorable as far as being able to talk to them, but as noted here, there's some medical issues involved. We're doing our best to work with the individual and any relatives that can help, but it's a difficult situation. So I just wanted to let you know we were very much aware of it.
Yep.
And we're trying to deal with it as best we can.
Great. Thank you, Ralph.
Sure.
New business, John Nastis Construction Application and Certificate for Payment Number 2 for the Spring Street Streetscape Project. I'm asking for a motion and a second to remit payment to John Nastis Construction for the Spring Street Streetscape Project, Application Number 2.
So moved, Brackman.
Randy, Deb, discussion? I'd have to say that the project is coming along very nicely.
Yes.
So keep up,
Yes.
he's doing a great job. So far, so good. Roll call vote.
Mr. Bernier?
Yes.
Mr. Brackbill?
Yes.
Ms. Clayton?
Yes.
Ms. Dan?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Ms. Purnell?
Yes.
Ms. Sedgwick?
Yes.
Ms. Tosti Vasey?
Yep.
Great, thank you. Good news, nuisance code administrator vacancy update. We have a new person, Stephen Barr, will be starting this Monday, today.
Today, he was here.
Was he here today?
Yes.
Oh, good. Were you gentle? I'm sure there's a long list.
Yes.
But thank you, Stephen. I hope someday Stephen comes in and introduces himself to all of us here on council. I appreciate that sometime.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking care of that. Borough offices will be closed this Friday because it's Veterans Day. All of us veterans and those others, it's a good day to visit restaurants and get a free meal.
Thank you for your service.
November, let's see. Yeah, the 10th. So just letting you know that. And of course, the offices will be closed for Thanksgiving Day. That's the 23rd. There will be, oh yeah, this is a good one. There will be no brush grass pickup. You should have, if you're on the list for phone calls, you should have gotten the robocall that no brush grass pickup on this Wednesday, November 8th. And the last day for brush and grass curbside pickup will be Wednesday, November 15th. My question is the Musser Lane facility available by getting a key or a code, or
The gate's
is
still
it still open
Yes.
from 6 a.m. until 2 p.m.
Monday.
through the week?
Yes.
It's just on Saturdays, there's no access.
Yes.
Is that,
1 o'clock on Fridays, 2 o'clock every other day.
okay, 1 p.m. closes on Fridays. Okay, so Saturdays are out.
Related
For the
question?
season.
Yes, ma'am,
We've got lots of leaves all over town.
we do.
Yes.
How long will For the public to knows how long we'll be
We
picking those
generally
up.
pick up leaves until it starts snowing, so we'll be out and about looking for piles.
There are some really huge piles.
Yes, there is. Yes.
It's the season. Yep.
So the muster lane facility's not open on Saturdays anymore?
After the
The
18th.
last day is the 18th,
Okay,
then it closes over winter.
right.
But
Yeah.
you can still get in during the day, Monday through Friday, and
That's okay.
As early as 6 a.m. up until 2 p.m. I know you're an early riser. Load your truck the night before.
I got you. It's just amazing.
We
You and these
sta-
hours at this place, it's crazy.
we staff that, the reason it's open on Saturday is we staff it throughout the summer up until noontime, and that staffing goes away after the 18th, so,
I'm appreciative of them being there till then.
okay,
I love those guys.
I know. So now we're to council members' comments for the good of the order. And Rita, I'm going to start at your end.
Can I start with me?
Yes.
I'm going to bring up something a little different today. I'm not sure how many of you have ever heard of the Convention of States, but there is a local group that is promoting that, and they're having a meeting the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and I know that's that's a day that some people like to go shopping, but it's at 10 a.m. at the
Deer
Watermark
season.
Church. Deer season?
It's deer season.
Sorry.
We're shopping. Shopping's on
10
Friday.
a.m. Wait, go ahead.
10 a.m. at the Watermark Church.
Okay.
And I went to the last meeting. It was very interesting and informative. And they currently have 19 of the, I believe it's 34 states that they need to have approved to actually call a convention of states. There is a website, conventionofstates.com, if you're interested in checking out what that's all about. I think that should be something of interest, whether you're Republican or Democrat, to kind of rein in our government and get a little more control back to the people. So that's my spiel for this evening.
Deb?
I have two things. First, I would like to recognize Denise Stiga, who has been the executive director of the Center County Library and Historic Museum since 2018. In October, the Pennsylvania Library Association presented Denise with the organization's Distinguished Service Award. Each year, the PLA honors the service of the members and community volunteers who go above and beyond to support the work of libraries throughout the Commonwealth. So thank you, Denise, for your outstanding contribution and commitment to all of the communities served by our library system. I think there are 37 different communities in our system. It's every little hamlet and village, and it's a pretty wide system. And this is completely different. Last week, a mature tree was removed from the borough property at the Reservoir Building. It did not appear to be diseased or dying, and I wondered if there was another option considered other than complete removal of that tree.
I'm not even aware of it.
Well, there was a bucket truck up there for 2 days. There was a tree removal service, and there was borough staff
I know,
involved.
we had gotten complaints about branches coming down and that kind of thing.
I don't ever remember see branches coming down.
I'm
off
just
that
telling
tree.
you, we, big trees, obviously, we don't like to take them down, but I can guarantee it was complaint-based.
Okay, because this is not a street tree, it was well
No,
defined.
it was on
On the property.
on authority property,
Yep.
yes.
Yeah, the rumor mill is running up
Okay.
there on the hill, so I thought I'd get an answer.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Anything else, Deb? Joanne?
Okay, I have 3 different things. I'll do the 2 short ones first. Tomorrow's election day. Polls open at 7 a.m., close at 8 p.m. If you didn't get a mail-in or absentee ballot, go to your poll. If you haven't turned those in, at this point, you have to take them to the elections office. The drop-in boxes are now closed. Second one, Don and I and Julie and Clearwater Conservancy and the Center County Recycling Centers Spent about 30 minutes this afternoon, is all it took, to plant about 15 new bushes on the peninsula at, in Talleyrand Park, and seeded the entire ground with wildflowers. So we should have a very nice looking area there come next June. And we have extra wildflower seeds in case that we have bare spots, because we kind of just spread them everywhere. The third one's a little longer. I attended the Pennsylvania Municipal League Sustainability Conference in Gettysburg last week. There was a rain barrel making workshop on Wednesday that I attended. Gamal Sharif, who's the mayor of Rutledge, who was actually born here in Bellefonte, and I worked together to make one of these barrels. It's that one right there. I purchased it after we completed making it, and I'm now donating it to the borough for placement somewhere in the borough to help with stormwater runoff. Wherever you think it would be best, that's fine. It is a 60-gallon food-grade pickle barrel. So, put it to good use.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Second, Christopher Nave, he's DEP's Energy Program Specialist, and Penn State made a couple of presentations on climate sustainability and planning. When this council suspended our climate action plan and shut down the Environmental Advisory Board, I heard you all say that you would reconsider the suspension if we redid the plan. So I asked both Christopher and the coordinators of the ICLEI DEP PSU training program if Bellefonte could re-enter and redo the climate action planning. Both said yes, and that the redo would be free, including a free update of our greenhouse gas inventory. Brandy Robinson, who is the associate teaching professor in the Department of Mineral Engineering, co-directs the updated local climate action and adaptation program at Penn State, which took over the training program from DEP. She told me that she would be willing to come and talk to us about what kind of do-over we would like to have done. So that might be something we should put on a work session. Then I picked up 4 sets of materials for all of you and put them at the table. 2 of them are sample brochures from Reading's Environmental Advisory Council that are designed for their residents. One is a summary of the benefits of their climate action plan, and the other, which I thought was really interesting, is a disaster resource guide for residents that gives tips to prepare for a disaster. That guide includes phone numbers for local resources and emergency and non-emergency contacts. That might be something we might want to consider. Second is a 2-page local government guide from the Chesapeake Bay Foundation listing the educational modules they have available to assist local governments in decision-making regarding the waterways within their each jurisdiction. I think that would be good for us, but also for the Spring Creek Watershed Commission. And the final handout is a booklet from Siemens that focuses on Pennsylvania's enabling legislation that is called PA-GISA, which stands for the Pennsylvania Guaranteed Energy Savings Act. It is an alternative means to fund capital projects to address deferred maintenance items and modernize infrastructure with no capital outlay required. It includes a no-cost, no-obligation preliminary energy analysis that goes much beyond what we did with Wilson Engineering. That has other benefits for taxpayers over a 15 to 25-year period. This booklet provides several examples that Siemens has done here in Pennsylvania and elsewhere in the country. Note, this is not an endorsement of Siemens. It is, however, one of several companies that does participate in this type of public-private partnership. So if we have anything that we think that we don't have the money for when we're doing budgeting and it has the energy related, we could possibly do one of these projects and see if we could get this done. And they did some presentations that looked like, in terms of energy savings, it looked really good. But so that's there for, as an example, what could be done.
Anything else?
That's it.
Okay.
Me? Okay.
Randy?
All right, I want to try to clear something up from a couple weeks ago. On the October 2nd council meeting, I made a motion to table the motion to remove the EV charging stations from municipal parking lots. A motion was properly given, followed by a second, and the vote approved the table. At the October 16th meeting, council meeting 2 weeks later, I requested that the motion of removing the EV charge stations from municipal parking lots be removed from table. Another council member called my motion out of order as I did not provide a date. Council member also stated that our current council could not vote on this motion until after the upcoming election. The new council elected and sworn in could then vote on the EV charging station removal from table. I did a check on the information but could not find anything that related to this. It seems unfair to me that the current elected council members could not vote on this motion due to a missing date followed by a tabled motion that could not be brought up until new council members were elected and sworn in. We follow Robert's Rules of Order, but we don't follow it to the letter. We're not A to Z. And most of the presidents that I've worked under since I've been on this council since 2014, they chose to adapt the Robert's Rules to fit to what was going on for them and how give them the best way to run the meetings. So with the help of my little friend, my 12th edition of the Robert's Rules of Orders, the time limits of taking a question from table states, a question that has been laid on the table remains there and can be taken from the table at any time during the same session, or if the next regular business session will be held before a quarterly time interval has elapsed, also until the end of the next regular business session. If not taken from the table within these timelines, the question or motion dies. So it's, to me, the motion to remove the EV charging stations from the table on October 16th was proper, and by not being removed from the table in October, died. I think there should be an apology to this council to get information that's not correct, and nobody follows up on it to find out what is going on and what is correct. That's my comments.
Mayor? Beat Michigan.
Go.
Don?
I am going to give kudos, because the mayor and the chief brought up Halloween, this little costume here, to the parents of this little young man here with that costume.
Beautiful.
That refuse truck is almost to a T of what the borough's refuse truck looks like. So I wanted to put that out there.
That is great.
Tissues in the back too.
Whatever it did, I give kudos to the parents, and that little
You betcha.
fellow looks like
Yeah,
That's good.
that's wonderful. Thank you, Don, for sharing that.
That's neat.
Anything else?
That's it. Other than that, I'm happy to be here.
I have nothing.
I certainly want to thank all the veterans for your services. I mean, we wouldn't have the many beautiful things that we have. And freedom's definitely near the top, so thank you very, very much.
Barb,
I have nothing tonight, thank you.
Johanna?
I'm happy Don has that picture. For fun, I had the opportunity to help judge the Halloween parade again. And that was not in the category I was judging, but he would have been my top vote for sure.
That's the grand prize.
That would have been my grand prize pick. But it was fun, it was great weather. We did our, little walk down to the park. And then with the Historic Society, I had my table set up in the park all day. And it was just a really nice event, talking to people, and a lot of people I talked to were not from Bellefonte Borough. They were from the outskirts of the area, so you know that it's drawing people into the town. So it was just a nice event all around. The weather was great, even though it sprinkled on us a couple times, but it was a nice couple events.
Great, thank you.
You had mentioned the borough offices will be closed on Friday, November 10th, in observance of Veterans Day. Of course, Veterans Day is the 11th,
Yes.
and the 10th is
Friday.
November 10th will be the birthday of the United States Marine Corps. For 248 years, Marines have earned a reputation as the most disciplined and lethal warfighters in the world. So if you know any Marines, don't forget Friday,
I do
November
know
10th, is the
Sitting right
Marine
there.
Corps birthday.
Yes,
We have an
happy
hour.
birthday
Yes.
from the halls of
Semper
Malta.
Fi.
Which means
Semper.
Simple.
I'm an Army guy.
That's all I got.
The caissons go rolling along with me. I don't want to omit Julie. She's sort of part of our team. If
I do have something.
Great, come on up, please.
Leaves, we're on it.
Okay.
So we've received a lot of calls about the leaves. So our crews have been doing paving. So they will be starting, if not tomorrow afternoon, Wednesday, and
Great.
we'll have leaf trucks out. So I know everyone's concerned, but we're getting there. We'll be there.
I've seen them. They've been out.
Yeah, a few times, just not on the regular schedule.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. Okay, do I make the announcement about the executive session that we had now?
Yeah.
So we had an executive session in regard to a legal
Contract.
Legal contract agreement. Prior to this business meeting. That's all I need to say, I believe. So I'm looking for a motion to adjourn and a second.
So moved.
Randy, Barb,
Brock, Bill, and Dan.
meeting is adjourned.